This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Glad to have you here on this Monday. Women and gender diverse people will soon have another, more permanent safe space in Winnipeg. Velma's House, which is operated by Laychuk, is getting a new home. This is something that advocates have been calling for years. Joanne Roberts has the story.
The federal government announced Velma's House is getting almost $7 million to expand the shelter. Dodie Jordan is the executive director of Laychuk. It runs Velma's House, an all-around-the-clock safe space. Jordan was emotional when she first heard about the money.
I bawled my eyes out. I couldn't stop crying. I was at home because we were working from home still then. And my son came up and he was like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "We had such wonderful news, my son, and what this means for the women."
Jordan says instead of helping 10 people at a time, they'll be able to help 60. Velma's House now owns its building and can offer more traditional healing.
It's been a long road for our women, and a lot of our women didn't make it to be able to be a part of this today. We've lost a lot of women along the way in advocating and trying to get Velma's House going.
At least 6 Indigenous women have been killed in Winnipeg this year. Advocates called for action on violence against Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit, and gender-diverse people. The money for Velma's House also includes $4 million in operational expenses until 2026. Velma's House expects to be open in its new location by December. Joanne Roberts, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The Grand Chief of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs is denouncing comments by Jenny Mottkuluk on Canada Day. Yesterday, the mayoral candidate accused the AMC of creating a, quote, false and divisive narrative that was trying to, quote, guilt voters into their love of Canada. Mottkuluk has repeatedly complained about the new July 1st format at the Forks, with some of the events there now focused on Indigenous culture and history. AMC Deputy Grand Chief Cornell McLean doesn't believe her criticism is fair.
She can't just go off on a little tirade every time somebody makes a comment, and nothing was directed towards her or any other candidate. We merely made comments towards, some of her beliefs, that's all.
Mottkuluk says she will not participate in the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs mayoral forum next week. Well, more than a quarter of people living in Winnipeg are immigrants, and many of them are eager to vote. Members of the newcomer community had an ear recently with some of Winnipeg's mayoral candidates. CBC's Andrew Wilds has the story.
We're going to talk about the East Forum, some housekeeping rules.
It was a full house on Saturday at the South Sudanese Community Center. Immigrants from all backgrounds turned out for a mayoral candidates forum on immigrant, refugee, and newcomer issues.
This is my first time to vote in the city elections, and there's so many candidates, and right now I don't know yet who to vote.
Rosalind Advincula has lived in Winnipeg for 14 years, but she only became a citizen last year. She was one of several people who called on the candidates to make it possible for permanent residents to vote. 8 of the 11 candidates were present. Most of them said they'd need to review the suggestion. Sean Loney said if elected, he'll make it happen. Wani Michael volunteers for an after-school program in Winnipeg. He says newcomer youth need more language support to help them integrate.
They come here, they go to school, and you're put in class according to your age. That becomes a challenge. And then they drop out from school, they go astray, and then parents, the community, all of us in the city begin crying, oh, our kids are going astray. But there is something that has not been addressed.
The forum's organizers asked candidates whether they'd make it a priority to implement a newcomer welcome and inclusion policy. The policy already exists. City Council adopted it in 2020, but it's installed. All candidates present at the forum say they'll hire the staff necessary to implement it if they become mayor. Andrew Wiles, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A reminder that CBC Manitoba will host a live mayoral debate of our own coming up this Wednesday. That is 1 week before the civic election. You can watch it right here on CBC television starting at 6 p.m. It will also air on CBC Radio 1 and online. Well, a weekend of tragedy on our province's roads. 7 people are dead in 5 separate crashes this weekend. 5 people, including 2 corrections officers, were killed in 3 separate collisions on highways outside of Winnipeg. RCMP say 3 of those people weren't wearing seatbelts. Winnipeg police are looking for help tracking down the SUV that hit and killed a 24-year-old woman last night. She was found lying on the street at Portage and Barrie around 11:30. The woman died in hospital. Police say the driver of a gray or silver SUV did not stay at the scene. And police are investigating another crash over the weekend that left an 81-year-old woman dead. That one happened near Sargent and Empress Sunday morning. Police say 2 people had to be extracted from their vehicle. One was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Corazon Maguera was taken to hospital, though, where she later died. Everyone in the other vehicle ran away after the collision. A new stamp honors decorated Anishinaabe war veteran Sergeant Tommy Prince.
1, 2, 3.
Prince was from Broken Head Ojibwe Nation. He was awarded 11 medals for his service during the Second World War and Korean War, but faced racism when he returned to Canada. Today, he was remembered as an advocate and hero by many, including his son.
If he had $1 in his pocket and you needed it more than he did, he would gladly give it to you.
The stamp features Prince in his Korean War uniform. You can pre-order it now or get it at post offices beginning on October 28th. And a sculpture that has captured the eyes of those visiting the Forks will soon be dismantled. Internationally acclaimed artist and activist Ai Weiwei's piece called Forever Bicycles has been at the Forks for 3 years now. That one included 1,254 bicycles that were joined together in a tribute to the bikes that flooded the streets of China. It had been on loan to the Forks, but that loan has come to an end. It will be disassembled in early November. Well, it definitely was a brisk evening out there tonight. Meteorologist John Sauder will tell us how long this cool weather sticks around up next.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear-out is on now.
Well, it was nice to see the sunshine today. We haven't had a lot of that lately. The warmer air was just to the west of us. Temperatures out in Alberta in the mid-20s. For instance, in Calgary, even western sections of Saskatchewan. Tomorrow, we get some of that warmer air just up around Lynn Lake. Could see 10 degrees around the Paw, Flin Flon, 8 degrees in Lynn Lake, even a 10 around Swan River and Dauphin as that upper ridge starts to move our way and stays with us right through the rest of the week. Now, not much cloud to be had here either. Clear skies again tonight. We're heading down into the minus double digits, and as we move through the next couple of days, we get a little bit more in the way of cloud cover on Thursday, but really that is just a sun cloud mix. There's the low tonight, pretty much the same as what we saw very early in the morning on Monday. -7 first thing, light winds. Again, a sunny day and a high of just 3. The normal high is now 9, and we're nowhere near there until we get to Wednesday. But look at the warm-up we're going to see. 11 Wednesday, 12 on Thursday, still 13s and 14s for Friday, Saturday, still mild on Sunday, and then we start to cool off again heading into next week.
-10. Make sure you bundle up early tomorrow morning. Thanks, John. That's your late news for this Monday. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.